Yo, what's up, YouTube? I appreciate you all being here today. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button as it helps me out a ton. Today, we reacted to a video of a corrupted cop. He must have a lot in his mind because the video's like an hour and a half long, but I'm definitely going to chop it up a little bit to make it a little shorter. Now, let's get to the video. Let's see what they're talking about.
Mike, when people do interviews with you, they often describe you as New York's dirtiest cop.
Right.
And I watched that over and over again in your interviews. And I wondered as I watched people calling you New York's dirtiest cop, how that makes you feel.
Not good.
I bet.
Yeah, and that's a touchy subject, but I accept it, and I've turned it into something where I'm able to maybe chaperone an audience because of it. But it's not nice to hear that. More importantly, it's not nice for your parents to hear something like that. And thank God they're still alive. But you know, it's not the happy day when your mother sees your name on the front page of the newspaper. I'll tell you that, and for nothing good. You know.
And how many crimes did you commit while you were a New York cop?
So it may have been thousands because every time I did something that was inappropriate. So you got to step back for a second. Every time a police officer puts on his badge and swears that oath and takes the job on, he's basically taking a risk on everything he does that can end him up in jail. Everything. And that's really a very difficult position to be in. Everything you do legitimately can end you up being sanctioned or arrested. So I would suggest basically anything I did or any interaction I did could have been considered with some kind of criminal intent.
And still on the top line, just painting the picture here, before we get into the detail, what are the variety of crimes that you committed as a New York police officer?
So every time you take something from somebody, money, cash, drugs, personal property, let's say, it's basically a robbery, because you have a gun on your hip and you're using a position of power. So you would start with robbery, extortion, burglary, when you went into someone's home and came out with a product. I mean, I've taken tapes from, back in the day, those VCR tapes, there was a lot of good stuff in some VCR tapes. I mean, we can get a little humorous here, but the reality was, some guy's porn collection might be missing. I mean, these are the things that you ran into. Their cash, their gold coins, whatever was. When someone's dead, it's really hard for them to complain about what's missing. So, and it's ironic, it's stupid, and it's debauchery at the same time. So you cross all the lines of decorum when you do something like that.
Did you steal someone's porn collection?
Maybe.
Really?
It could have been. They were dead.
They were dead?
They were dead. They couldn't use it anymore. I mean, they were smoking crack, okay? So I'm in the 94th precinct in Brooklyn now, which is Williamsburg, where you say was a lovely place. And it was. It was becoming lovely when we were there. They started opening up some studios. We got a call for a dead on arrival. Someone was murdered. So we show up, and the guy's sitting in his couch with a knife in his side. I mean, you walk into a home, and there's a guy on his couch like this, sitting there with a hole in his side, with the knife still in it. He's bled out. And the place looked like there was a party that didn't stop. So while there, I'm sitting around waiting for the boss to show up and the squad to show up, the detective squad to show up. And I'm looking around, rummaging a little bit, looking for the evidence of the crime scene. And sure enough, I hit the button on the VCR, and there's a porn. They got the porn on fucking TV. So I'm saying, okay, he's dead. There's crack. Evidence of there was no crack there, by the way. It was all gone. No one leaves crack behind. The cigarette smokes were, the ashes were piled out of the ashtrays, and there's beer bottles everywhere. So it's July. It's 100 degrees, and this apartment has no air conditioning in it. So what does any self-respecting 20-something-year-old man want at this point? Not the porn, per se, but the beer, right? So I'm looking around. Every beer bottle's empty. And right below the apartment is a bodega, right below it. Like upstairs is the dead guy, and downstairs is the bodega. So we go downstairs, and we tell the guy, listen, we're going to be upstairs for a couple hours. He hands us a six-pack of Coors Light. You can't make the story up. We walk in, me and my partner, Tom, and in comes the detective. We each have a beer. We're sitting there bullshitting, waiting for the boss to show up. Boss walks in. She looks around. She goes, I want every beer bottle in here printed. She says, and in the refrigerator. Now, I just put the fucking 6-pack in the refrigerator when she walked in. So I'm going, now picture this. They know I'm corrupt, okay? But they can't prove it. I'm on what you would call secret probation, even though I'm not on probation. They're watching me like a hawk. Now I got a detective who's looking at me like, we just had a beer. Our fucking fingerprints are inside the refrigerator. And he's scared. I'm not. I mean, I'm gonna take a hit, I guess, right? So I go, Sarge. She goes, what? In that refrigerator, there's a 6-pack of Coors Light. And my fingerprints are on the bottles in the refrigerator. She looks at me, she goes, of course it's you. She goes, of all the people in this fucking police department, it would be your fingerprints inside the refrigerator on a Coors Light bottle at a homicide scene. And there's only 4 homicides in this precinct this year, and you've been on 3 of them. You've been at the scene of 3 of them. So I go, yeah, it doesn't look too good, does it, son? She goes, I'm gonna go downstairs. I'm gonna go to my car, and I'm gonna make a phone call, whatever I gotta do. She said, get rid of that, and don't do it again.
Did you steal the porn collection?
Yes, it was already in the car.
See, like, this guy, I guess he's, I don't know, he's thinking it's very funny, so, I don't know. I don't know what his intentions are, but that just shows you how one police officer covers for another. You know, it happens all the time. Believe me, it happens all the time.
It was already in the
I
car.
already had it. I mean, that's what he had. A knife in his belly and a porn collection.
You didn't steal the knife.
No, I couldn't. It was evidence.
So you put his porn collection in your car.
Yeah.
Sick.
Wow. And you do originally train to become an accountant and drop out because of a woman, right?
Yes.
And you wanted to follow her. So you end up joining the police academy in 1982, 21
Right.
years old.
Right.
And when you joined the police academy, did you do it because you wanted to be a police officer? And because you wanted to serve and defend?
No, that's not why I joined.
Why
I
did you
joined
join?
because I wanted a job.
Because you wanted a job. And so when you stood there and took that oath,
Right.
did you mean it?
No. I mean, I guess so. So the answer to, so if you say no, I mean, that means that you have no concern or care. So it was an immature yes.
So you take that oath, you don't really mean it.
I'm embarrassed if I say, I want to be truthful because I don't like to lie. I felt pride when I said it. Is that, so I felt full of pride when I,
He said he don't like to lie. Come on, dude. You's a corrupted cop. Like, you did all this bad stuff and you're telling me you told the truth about everything when someone asked you a question? No way, dude. I'm pretty sure you lied more than you tell the truth, dude.
said it.
And as part of your training to become a police officer, you do some integrity training,
Yes.
some like ethics training to make sure
Correct.
that police officers are like straight and narrow and understand
So one of the
ethics.
things that I would suggest on that statement or that whole genre is it wasn't necessarily, we weren't necessarily trained on integrity or ethics. We were trained on, this is what would happen to you if. Don't take $5 from a motorist or $50 from a motorist because that will lead to one, you being arrested and being all over the news, and then all the cops are going to hate you. Like, it was never really explained to you as a student in the academy the depth of the lack of integrity and what you're actually affecting.
Okay. But like the fundamental issue if we don't trust law enforcement and the downstream consequences.
Thanks for saying it that way. Yes, because it destroys the very fabric of what people trust in law enforcement. Because when you need help, you got to call somebody, and the person that shows up has to be trustworthy. Now, I would argue, because I robbed money from drug dealers and even their drugs, you can still trust me, right? That's what I would argue. Because if you're not doing those things, essentially, you're safe with me, and I will give you the best police service that you ever asked for, and probably go above and beyond to help you.
There was some kind of comment made at the end of your training by an internal affairs academy instructor, which basically said to be successful as a cop, don't follow these rules, the ethics rules that you were just given.
So yes, so that wasn't the internal affairs officer that said that. That would be your academy instructor.
Okay.
Yeah. So, ironic, he had said to me, us in the academy class, if you live by the rules that these guys espouse, internal affairs, you'll never make a successful cop. Just cover your ass. That was his words. Just cover your ass.
What do they mean by that? Always have a reason, always have an excuse?
Basically, you hit it on the head. Like, so, and have, if you have a partner, be on the same page. So let's say something was handled inappropriately. Maybe there was some excessive force use, which I'm not fond of and nor am I in favor of. But there may be times where you might have given a guy an extra elbow. It happens. You know, you're mad, you spit in my face, I put the cuffs on you, I give you a shot. Do you hit the door on the way in? Sometimes. So as long as your partner and you have the story straight, you can pretty much, without these cameras today, get away with most things that are not unreasonable.
And the police all kind of agree that they won't snitch on each other.
That's the general rule.
And it's called, I read this term, the blue wall of silence.
Yes, right. So let's just be clear. The first person that's going to snitch on you is going to be a cop, okay? However, more chances than not, they try not to. And that's just the facts. Because what cop wants to go out on patrol knowing that if something goes down and it goes a little sideways from where it's supposed to go, let's say you and I were working together and you just told on me last week and now someone's pummeling you to death in the street, I have a chance to help you, or I can call for backup and wait, So you don't want that relationship with me, right? I mean, we're trying to get home tonight.
Yeah.
So it really puts people in a very precarious position.
Because you need those other cops for your own personal survival. So,
Correct.
So you don't want to be snitching on other cops.
Yeah. It's, it's really not built. That position in this society is not built for somebody to come in and be the knight in shining armor and say, listen, Officer Dowd, that was not appropriate. I'm going to have to report you right now. Before he goes to report me, I'm going to either bludgeon him to death because now he's taking my livelihood away. He's taking the food off the table of my family. You don't look at it as like you're getting the guy in trouble. You look at it as you're taking a career, a livelihood, incarceration. I mean, these are the things that can happen. Like I said, the minute you put that badge on, and I didn't get to this, is the minute that the job is looking to take something from you.
Duh.
Like, think about that. A mechanic goes to work and they say, can you get 6 cars done today? I'll try. You got 6, it is a bonus for you at the end of the day. A cop goes to work and they're looking to screw him the whole time.
Who's looking to screw him?
The department and the civilians.
No.
I didn't like the way he handled me. They make a complaint. Your boss goes, I got the people complaining, Dowd. I'm going to have to give you a shit assignment or I'm going to have to change your assignment. I mean, the whole time, someone's against you.
They're trying to find some kind of chink in your armor, something you did wrong.
Yeah, and it's really to cover their ass. Back to the beginning. It's a very, very difficult position. A fireman goes to work. You know what they do? They save lives. They put out fires. They eat a good meal. They have a great gym. No one's in there going, well, they have rules and decorum, but no one's going, we're looking to take you for this. We're looking to stripe you for that. The civilians aren't walking into a firehouse and going, I didn't like the way that truck backed out. And the siren blasted and hurt my ears. They're going, yay, they're going to save someone's life. A cop shows up on the scene. He's going to give me a ticket. He's going to arrest my husband. My husband beat me and he doesn't believe me. I mean, it's such a grating position to be in.
Yeah, because
When we're thinking
like
about
you.
the factors, the environmental factors that led you to make the decisions that you made, one of the big factors that I was looking into at the time was there was obviously this crack epidemic, but then it also seemed like the police at the time didn't actually want you to arrest people.
Yes, that's correct.
I saw some crazy stat, which I'm sure you'll be able to account for me, but in the sort of decade that you were a police officer, you didn't do that many arrests.
No.
How many?
43.
You did what?
43 arrests.
You did 43 arrests in how many years?
Well, I mean, total 10 years, but yeah. So not all of that was patrol, but yeah. So it doesn't matter. I mean, I can make 43 arrests in a month, okay, if I really wanted to.
If you weren't corrupt at that time, how many arrests do you think you probably should have made in those 10 years based on the crimes that you observed?
500.
Okay, so about 90% of the things you should have arrested someone for, you didn't, roughly.
Correct.
Okay, and why weren't you making more arrests?
You couldn't keep the police on patrol if they were making arrests.
They were clogging up the system.
The system would get so jammed up. The average amount of overtime for one crack arrest was 18 hours.
You would be paid.
Hey, I don't want to hear that, dude. What you was doing was taking their money, taking their drugs, and letting them go. Come on, dude. Tell the truth. You don't like to lie, right?
paid for that.
Paid time and a half.
Okay, so then the department has to pay you more money if you do an arrest.
And then process the arrest, and they all get processed through the correction system, and they all get processed through the court system. I mean, you're talking 150,000 arrests a year in Brooklyn alone. That's a lot of numbers if you just keep cranking at it, and everybody's getting 18 hours overtime per arrest.
And who's paying for all these arrests at the end of the day?
Well, the city,
the
people.
city's paying. So the city don't want you to be arresting people.
Oh, because they got a budget to manage.
Were you ever directly told to stop arresting
Yes.
people?
Yeah. How's this? You really didn't make a dent on it, and now there's 2 men off patrol. And then your next assignment was the desk. You're making arrests, causing a problem.
Yeah.
The city's paying for it. There's less police available, and the robberies, the murders, and the rapes in those communities were extremely high. They rather have them sell crack than people getting robbed and raped and murdered. Does that make sense? Of course it does.
Yeah, so it's all incentives. I think if you look at any system, you'll understand why people behave they do if you understand the incentive structure. Right. And in your case, if you made more arrests of criminals, then the city would have both a bill because they had to pay cops overtime to take care of the admin work, but also they're going to have more cops off the street, which could also lead to more crime. More crime.
Yes.
So you were incentivized not to arrest people.
Correct.
Okay.
So what does that lead to? That leads to the streets becoming unwieldy. Like there's no control. So what happens is a guy like me who's entrepreneurial spirit shows up and says, there's a way to control this. I tax these people or arrest them, one of the two, and I can't arrest them, so I tax them.
And let's talk about that first experience of you taxing the first person, which I think was in 1983. Your starting salary when you joined the police was $18,000 a year, roughly.
Yes.
And you pulled someone over in 1983.
Yes.
And that's the first time...
That's the first time there was a tax levied.
That was the first time you committed a crime, I guess, as a police officer.
No, but the first time that I committed an actual money crime, I would say. Yeah.
How old are you at that point in 83?
23, 24, yeah. And that was basically, we called it a Puerto Rican mystery back then. I know that I'm famous for saying that. And people are, listen, that's what they called it, all right? Because the guy was from Puerto Rico, and he had no paperwork, no license, or anything like that. And he just bought the car.
You'd pulled him over?
Pulled him over, no plates.
No plates, right.
You just came here from Puerto Rico, you got a stack of hundreds in your bag, and I'm looking at him saying, you know, you got like $2,000 worth of tickets, and I'm supposed to take your car from you. I said, but, you know, I like lobster. Leave me enough money for a lobster lunch. This whole thing can go away. So the kid was quick on his feet. He left a couple $100 under my briefcase on the back seat. He got out, and I said, I don't want to ever see you again, you know, unless you got some more lobster lunch money later. Of course, I didn't say that. And of course, I left that scene with the money, and I was very uncomfortable because it was the first time I actually solicited something like that. But it was sort of it's almost like I won something.
As a cop, one of the things we saw in movies back then is cops getting like sexual favors because they're cops.
Yeah.
Did that happen?
I would say it was available, and I've took some advantage of it. But you know,
Come on, guy. I could tell just by the way you look and act that you was doing that a lot more than what you're a lot more than what you're saying, dude. Like, come on, don't bullshit us.
There was some, yeah. Yeah, there was some. I mean, that's like, you know, you're driving by in a police car and a girl says hello, and you go and you go fuck her. I mean, you know, is that like a benefit of the job, or is that, you know, your promiscuity?
Did you ever do that while working?
Yes, that's my biggest sin in the world. I
In
got
the-
laid while working.
In the car?
Yes.
Yes. Come on.
Wow. It's not just in movies.
Not
Then.
the lights and siren only went off once.
Really?
That was from the blowjob. It wasn't from the. Yeah, the girl's ass hit the fucking buzzer. I'm like, what the fuck? The big back. It's 3 in the morning. You hit the buzzer. I'm in the back of a courtyard of a 9-story building.
Your boss, your sergeant, around that time, did he know that you were doing things like this?
Not then. No. But shortly thereafter, there would be a situation where my sergeant, it was a murder scene, dead kid, 20-year-old, shot in the head, and there was a marijuana spot. There's money, there's drugs, you know. I mean, listen, it's overwhelming when you come across these things and there's a dead body there and you're entrusted to handle all this stuff and you're broke. And so I took a little thin stack of hundreds and put it in my pocket. Turned out it was like $600. And as the crime scene was being processed, in walks my sergeant, Sergeant James Otto. He says, "Is this it?" Like 2-3 pounds of marijuana, which is like this much marijuana. It's a fucking big pile of shit. And I don't know, it was like, I don't know, $1,500 in cash stacked all over here. "Is this it?" I go, "Yeah." I go, but I felt like he was asking me too much. So, well, I did have this, and I take out a thin stack of hundreds. And he goes, "Oh, anything else?" I go, "No, that's it." I said, I didn't want it to get full of blood. Later on that night, I run into him at a choir practice, they would call it. He went out bullshitting, having a couple beers. I said, "Sarge, let me ask you a question. What if," and I say, and I come across money, and he said, "What if I kept that 600? He goes, "I was annoyed that you gave it to me." Like, just picture the moment. You're 20-something years old, you're broke. You're coming to work, you're surviving. You're in survival mode. You're out having a couple of beers with your buddies, and your boss, who's got 20 years on the job at this point, so he actually could retire if he wanted to, and he says to you, "If I don't see it, it's yours." He says, "But let me know so you can throw me something later on." It was like the whole vision of this thing changed at that moment. It's basically saying, if you get there, it's yours. Take what you can before I get there, because I don't want to witness it, because I don't want to have to witness it.
Was he taking money?
Well, he'd say no, but clearly he was indicating that it's good, just don't let me see it.
When you reflect on that scene that you arrived at, you said there was a 20-year-old man that was dead.
Yeah.
Did seeing those scenes ever bother you?
Initially, my first DOA was my first day. Guy jumped off a building and landed on his head. That bothered me because the family showed up. It was horrific, and I got to hold the family back and don't touch him because it could be a murder. We don't know why he's dead. It's a crime scene essentially. I began to see people shot, stabbed. You have a total disconnect, like really quickly. The first shooting I was at was doing a midnight shift, and the guys were doing a burglary of a car. They were stealing tires and tire irons. And I said, "Hey, we should stop these guys." And my buddy Sal's like, "Nah," my partner, "Nah, let them go. It's late." Someone flags us down. "Hey, this guy's trying to steal tires off a car." So now I said, "Look, we got civilians complaining about the same people that we should have just tossed." Turn around, go back about 2 or 3 blocks. Guy's dead in the street. And I see a tire iron. So I said to the people, were they carrying a jack or a tire iron? And they go, "Yeah." And they point over to the street where the tire iron was for taking the wheels off a car. This guy could have shot us. Like he's dead. It could have been us. Or if we did toss this guy, he could not be dead. So when you come that close to death itself, your survival instincts give you an ability to disconnect fairly quickly from those types of scenes.
Did you ever show up to a scene where you saw someone dead or dying and feel sad?
Yes. Yeah, a couple of times, but more important, one that strikes me a lot. I was talking to the guy who was going out. I knew he was going to die. It was just he was stabbed in the stomach, and he's looking at me, and He goes, I'm getting cold. I go, yeah, it's going to be okay. He says, I'm getting cold, officer. I said, oh, you're going to be okay. We're going to get you to the hospital. The ambulance showed up like 5 minutes later. He was barely conscious when he got in the ambulance, and he wasn't going to make it. And he died. And it was sad because I couldn't do anything for him. I'm like,
You saw a lot of stuff. Why did that affect you?
I felt bad because I was talking to him, knowing he's going to die. Like, and one other time I felt really bad. Some guy who was, I guess he was getting laid. Young guy, big, heavy set, strong, powerful black guy. His wife is like, I looked at her, she goes, I'm like, I could tell it was a sexual thing. They had sex. And the fucking guy was like 35 years old. And he was either dead or dying. He had a heart attack. And I wanted to give him CPR. But it would have been my first actual CPR case, you know. And the two cops I was working with go, no, don't worry about it. Go get the ambulance.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. Go get the ambulance.
Prejudice, motherfuckers.
Like,
That's what it
do
was.
CPR? No. You go outside. I was the kid. I was the rookie. And these two old timers were like, don't worry about it. It's going to be all right. Go outside and direct the ambulance in. Like 2 minutes later, the ambulance showed up. They started CPR on the guy, and he died. To not render aid when you think you can make a difference, that hurts.
Should just
Why
did
did they
it,
tell you
dude.
not to render aid to him?
I don't know. I don't know why. They didn't tell me why, you know. And it was very disheartening because I think I could have helped save the guy. But what am I going to do? Wrestle with these guys? And, you know, they go get they're in charge. Senior cop on the scene is in charge.
At some point, you started actually dealing drugs.
Yeah.
How did you start getting into drugs? When did...
All right, so that's gonna be the end of part 1. So far it's a little crazy, but I heard it gets even more crazy. But I don't know. You think this guy changed his life around? Do you think he's still doing illegal shit? Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And if you did enjoy the video, hit the like button. And I'll see you in the next video. I'm out.